What is your exact title other than being one of the luckiest guys in the world?
That's, I had that question asked to me today. We were talking about developing a new website for what I do, and as we chatted, we realized there's not really a definition of what I do. Again, right now, I'm very lucky. I'm a professional photographer. That has been a big part of what I've done in the past, being out on expeditions and traveling the world and doing different things. So I'm doing that in Costa Rica. So I'm living in Costa Rica right now. Absolutely fantastic place from all different aspects. But I ended up going to Costa Rica on a real estate gig and a business consulting gig. So
Okay.
what I do, I tend to work within the sort of leisure lifestyle, the travel tourism industry, and just more consulting, but grasping onto different things as they come along. So it's there's no real definition, but I'm lucky. I do agree, I admit that, but it's everybody can have this life if they want, for sure.
That's right. So, are you actually doing working for any resorts down there specifically right now, or you're just doing your photography and some odd consulting contracts that come up?
Exactly. That's what I'm doing right now. I live in Costa Rica. I do my professional photography business, or I'm developing it right now as we go. As I say, I've done that for many, many years. And so that's what the next year is going to be all about, is doing my photography business and really enjoying one of the greatest passions that I have, for once, making some good decisions, doing some more traveling and doing some expedition photography and some other things down there. We're working on developing the whole business plan from the websites and the social media side of things, and we'll get that up and running soon. But it gives me a chance to travel. I got very lucky with my photography. I was in Venezuela and Colombia 4 months ago with some clients, leading them through the Orinoco Delta, which is the jungle, the Amazon basin in Venezuela, and I got to spend some time with three different communities, tribal communities there in different areas, and actually spent some time with one group of people deep in the heart of the jungle who'd only seen sort of outside people once in their life before. So it was a life-changing experience for me. And it really takes you back, because I constantly talk about, I mean, we all look at the world around us and it's a very busy, complicated world, right? With our technology and the things we have to do. And so one of the things I love to do, and I love where I live, is we simplify things. I remember selling everything in Vancouver and moving offshore with 6 bags. Yeah. Two bags of dive gear, 2 bags with a laptop and some clothes, and simplifying that and feeling that whole weight just disappear and go away and go, we're pretty simple now. And then I live that life for a while, and then I go down to this community of people who live in the middle of the Amazon, in the middle of nowhere, and I thought my life was simple. Oh, their life is so simple. They run around with smiles on their faces all day long. They have to eat, they have to drink,
Yeah.
and they have to have shelter. But other than that, that's what life's all about. So it was pretty life changing. So some lucky things happening for sure.
I can just imagine. I can't even imagine what that was like. Encountering people who have only ever seen outsiders once in their life. And when I travel as well, I try to get into the local communities, the local habitat, get off the touristy route to see how people actually live. And you know what? I see a lot more happier people with a lot less. Some of them with just barely a shanty to live in, but they're always happy, they're always smiling, they're always laughing, because life is so simple to them. It's, they don't have all the trappings that we get here in the Western world, getting mired down in debt and then having to, keep a job that you hate, or stay working at something that you actually hate because you need to pay off the debts that you've incurred over time. Or, these people are just living that happy lifestyle, and they're just, there's so much peace in places like that. Until obviously you weren't down in Venezuela during the unrest, were you? Where all of the social unrest? You.
We don't need to go into that. We're on a happy topic right now. Yeah,
Okay. As long as you weren't involved in any of that, or get wrapped up in any of the nastiness, but you made it out, so I guess it was okay.
Yeah, Venezuela is in a tough time right now, and it's really hard on the country. It's a beautiful, beautiful country, and the people are suffering immensely for all sorts of different reasons. It's really unfortunate to see that. But what you said is absolutely right. the world doesn't necessarily have to have a zillion different things to make themselves happy. I was down in Costa Rica doing a photo shoot for a group of people doing some community service, and we were painting a recreation center for this small village, this pueblo, and literally these three boys played with a cardboard box about a foot high and a foot wide, and all they were doing was running it back and forth across the floor and laughing their heads off for about an hour and a half. But a lot of us stopped to watch that. I was photographing it because, and so I have this really boring photograph of two boys holding a cardboard box, which I want to show to everybody, yet everybody looks at it going, it's two boys in a cardboard box. That's pretty static, pretty boring. But to tell the story of exactly what you said is, how do we make ourselves happy? How do we simplify things? How do we, take ourselves out of the box and play with the box and see what happens? These guys ran around just pushing it across the floor. There was nothing else involved. One would push it the one way, the other would push it the other way, and one would fall over, and it was the funniest thing in the entire world. So that when you can experience some of that stuff, like you said, when you go away, or people who go away and do community service, or get involved a bit more as they travel in things that are going on, you pull out great rewards that are great, that I think really are intrinsic and go inside of you that you can learn from, but you can also take home to your daily life. And that's one of the huge blessings of traveling and moving away from your comfort zone a little bit, but also even living in different locations. And I think, living in Costa Rica, having been in Belize and many other places, I don't move because it's the glory of the beach. I move because I honestly and sincerely love cultures, languages, and want to get to know, local people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of expats all over the world, and expats are people who move from their home country, right, who, will go down to another country, and you'll see them all sitting at the bar, the Canadian bar, with a whole bunch of Canadians talking about Canada,
exactly,
day in and day out. And it's kind of like, guys, like, we're going to import some Canadian beer, and we might as well be back in Canada. What? So it's great to be able to,
and with the people, and spend time with them doing, the things that they do, and as opposed to just hanging around. And I noticed that when I was down in the Philippines, I was down twice, each time for a month, and you can see the congregation of the Westerners in a bar, where they're actually hanging out and drinking together or whatever. It's a weekly thing. Once a week they get together. But it's for that particular one, it wasn't every single night, but you can definitely see it there, where they sort of conjugate, and just to, I guess it's a comfort zone or whatever it is, or that feeling of home by being with people that come from the same place. I'm not exactly sure. Something like that. But so let's talk a little bit about how you're supporting yourself right now. So you're doing the photography. Are you selling your photos to like journals or magazines, or just to tourists? How do you support yourself with the photography?
Well, that's a good question. No, I'm in a transitional period, and that's not a scary thing, although it can be very scary. A transitional period where I'm moving as well away from, albeit not corporate world, but intense work scenarios where I've created some revenue by running resorts, general managing resorts for a long time, working 7 days a week, 24 hours a day on call, basically, on private islands and different other places. Gorgeous, gorgeous places, but work is still work, It's funny, I had a guy, Jack Lippa, who's a harmonica player, great harmonica player out of Chicago, and I went up to him one day in Belize at Crazy Canucks. You may have been there down at the resort that I ran.
Yeah.
And I said, Jack, I need you to write me a song. He's like, what's up, Paul? I knew him pretty well. He's like, what's up? What do you need? And so I just need a song because everybody looks at me and goes, oh, you have shorts and flip-flops on. Life is good. What are you complaining about? There's nothing to complain about. I'm like, well, I work 24 hours a day, as I said, 7 days a week for 5 or 6 or 7 months straight before I get a day off. And it's tiring because you're working with people all day long. So he goes, oh, yeah, you're right. What's the title of the song? And I said, the title of the song is Work is Still Work, Even in Paradise.
Exactly.
And if you go on YouTube and look up Jack Lippa, you can actually maybe find Work is Still Work, Even in Paradise. But But I moved from that into this consulting job in Costa Rica, as I said, and then after that, I just decided it was time for me to do what I really love, which is my photography. And so we're creating some revenue now through different ways, doing some real estate photography, some architectural photography, and some tourism sort of portraitures and stuff down there. But my true love is still expedition photography. So I'm developing my expedition photography, going with people on trips, you know, and taking photos while they're on trips, and then producing books for them afterwards, so they can have a great document of their epic trips, and also getting into fine art. So absolutely right. I'm going to be selling some of my work for fine art, for wall decorations in hotels and condos and developments and things like that, and other people online. So those are the directions that I'll really be pushing in a little while. So lots of fun.
Excellent. So I got just a couple shout outs here. My friend Jim House is watching live from San Diego. Jason P. Jordan from Germany, who's going to be moving to Italy very soon. Jason says cheers, so we got to give him a cheers, Paul.
Oh, cheers. Yeah, for sure. Corona all the way.
And Jason wants to know, what's the best way to shoot photography using a green screen? Well, you make it look like you're in a beach in Hawaii. That's what I do.
Yeah, no, it's not that hard, actually. I mean, the green screen is you can do anything in front of a green screen because it's easy to cut things out of and transport them onto something else. And you have a lot of technology to do that too, right? So
in my experience doing green screen, lighting is important, even lighting, and having the screen so it's as wrinkle-free as possible. In my experience, because I've done some where it's been wrinkled, and even though I transpose an image over top of it, there's still wrinkle. I can still see the wrinkles in the images, so that's key. So, Paul, we're going to have to close it out, but I know that Paul and I actually discussed, and we're actually going to do, probably maybe in October, we're going to do a series. Paul's going to talk about, what were the things that we were talking about, Paul? How you can actually move offshore or live sort of that lifestyle, like how do you transition into that, some of the key steps, some of the things to look out for. What were some of the other things that we were talking about?
Absolutely. No, I'm really excited about that. I've been lucky to be able to do some of that as well. So yeah, we'll put together a great little trilogy or something where we can talk about moving offshore, maybe why it's not scary to move offshore, some of the advantages of it.
Just a question.
You know, things to look at.
Do you do your banking offshore?
I do. Everything is offshore for sure. No, exactly. I was going to say some of the things, the top 10 things that you want to look at when moving offshore, because obviously if one was to, even if you go on vacation, you want to know that if something happens, you've got some good medical care around you. You want to know that, you know, life these days doesn't have to flip on its head for you to do that. So it'll be really exciting to put that together, and I think it'd be really valuable to some of the people who are, you know, whether they're in the United States or here.
You know what I sense from a business standpoint?
You got something going on?
I sense a book, and I sense a information product and selling the book, which leads to the information product that actually teaches people actually how they can do this themselves. So I think that's
why we're talking today.
You and I can connect with off camera and see how we can put that together, as well as the stuff that you're doing, building up your photography business. I have a few ideas that I think can really be beneficial for you when it comes to building your business, the photography business, as well as the websites, that sort of thing. So we should definitely connect off camera and see if there's anything that we can work together on those aspects.
It's fantastic. Well, I know you got to go because you got somebody else coming, and I'm really glad that you punched me a note and said you want to be on, because we could talk all day long about all sorts of things. I'm sure we could go around the world and go back again. So we won't get off topic now, but I look forward to coming back on to all your viewers, and we'll see what else we can do. But thanks again. It was a lot of fun.
All right, Paul, here's a cheers to you, my friend.
One more cheers from the Corona Lounge.
All right, I'll talk to you soon. All right, guys, I'm going to do a quick transition here while I bring up my next guest.